JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, 9-year-old girl fatally shot with fish gun in St. Elizabeth. The St. Elizabeth police are investigating the death of a 9-year-old girl in Middlesex District, St. Elizabeth, on Saturday, October 10. The deceased has been identified as Monique Brown. According to the police, initial reports suggest that the brother got hold of the gun after their father returned home about 3:30 p.m. with a fish gun after he went fishing. It is alleged that he was playing with his sister when it went off, hitting her in the back. Brown was taken to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. 2 hospitalized following truck crash in Manchester. 2 people have been hospitalized following a crash on Saturday afternoon along the Mitzvah Main Road near Walderston in northern Manchester. According to an eyewitness, shortly after 1 p.m., the driver of a truck transporting animal feed lost control of the vehicle upon reaching a section of the main road. The truck crashed into a bus stop on the utility pole before stopping mere meters from a house. The driver and the passenger were taken from the mangled truck and rushed to hospital where they were treated and admitted in critical condition. The police had to be called in to stop looting by people who converged on the scene. Jordan Watson makes Clifton Boys Home proud. As the rebuilding of the Clifton Boys Home in Darlaston, Westmoreland remains high on the agenda of those spearheading the rebuilding, the success of Jordan Watson, a resident of the home who passed 9 subjects in this year's Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate CSEC examinations, must have strengthened their resolve to keep pushing on. Living at the home was not really bad, because I got the equipment that I needed to do my studies, and so the rest was up to me, said 17-year-old Jordan, who is originally from Little London and has lived at the Darlaston-based home since 2016. During this year's CSEC sitting, of the 9 subjects he sat, Jordan got grade 1 passes in physical education and human and social biology, grade 2 passes in biology, physics and information technology, and grade 3 passes in chemistry, mathematics, English A, and geography. That was not what I was expecting, so I was kind of shocked, Jordan admitted regarding his mixed results. I was kind of disappointed because I put in more work, especially in chemistry and geography, so I was expecting a grade 1 for those, but it was also gratifying, and I think I did well in some aspects, and I'll improve as time goes by. His performance was certainly credible, given that it happened while he and his fellow wards were displaced after the Clifton Boys' home was ravaged by a fire on January 15, 2017. Immediately following that disaster, the 28 boys who were living there were relocated to the nearby Caledonia Assemblies of Holiness Church. I coped with what was happening, and I adjusted to the situation here, said Jordan, who plans to attend the Caribbean Maritime University and become a sea navigator. I just want to say that the work that you put in will cause you to reap the fruit. The Reverend Hartley Perrin, chairman of the Clifton Boys Home, described Jordan as a disciplined young man who he believes is destined for success. Criminals defy COVID-19 curfew to unleash terror after dark. The nightly curfew, introduced as a COVID-19 containment measure, has catalyzed a lull in serious crimes, but there are still criminals lurking in the dark, testing law enforcement officers' patience, and adding more chaos to the lives of Jamaicans battling the crushing effects of the pandemic. The heinous crimes range from shootouts to stabbings and choppings, some gang-related, others sparked by fits of domestic rage as the relatives cram in tightly wound spaces. Sleuths are also hinting at a rash of break-ins, churches a favored target. At least 709 persons have lost their lives between March 10 and last week. Among them are 4 cops, who were all killed in the different evening to pre-dawn curfews imposed since Jamaica recorded its first case of the coronavirus. At the same time, nightly shootings have been reported in almost all major police divisions, particularly those in the corporate area, St. Catherine South, St. James and Clarendon. Deputy Superintendent Christopher Brown, commander of the Jamaica Constabulary Forces Area 3, admitted last week that there have been setbacks even though major crimes continue to fall. Yet the police remain relentless in adversity with God at the helm, he affirmed. Up to late last month, 140 policemen and policewomen had reportedly tested positive for the COVID-19. More than 80 cops had returned to work at that time, while some 300 cops were reportedly in isolation and quarantine. Among the victims was Police Commissioner Anthony Anderson. While there have been a few notable incidents within our area of responsibility, I believe, in spite of the storm, God gives us peace. We'll continue to pray before we plan, do whatever, and all that is necessary, and at all times what is right, said Brown, hinting at a solid leadership and a growing partnership with citizens. Area 3 comprises the parishes of St. Elizabeth, Manchester and Clarendon, and together they have recorded 123 murders. Clarendon leading the charge with 72 homicides, 32 fewer than last year. Contrastingly, on March 14, the parishes had recorded 8, 27 and 9 murders respectively. In the meantime, 90 gunfire has been reported in sections of the St. Andrew South and Kingston East, while residents have been on edge in sections of Portsmouth, Southborough and Newlands following shootings in those St. Catherine South communities. Nelva Road in Southborough has been particularly ghostly since 2 men were shot, one fatally, after hours last month, residents say. At the moment, we don't have any major challenge with regard to crime, but we still have areas that have always been of concern and we keep monitoring those, a senior officer in St. Catherine South, who asked not to be named, said. We have far less shootings than what we used to have. Our murders have been down by 20% compared to last year, said the cop. Among some of the heinous killings that have occurred during curfew hours are those of Superintendent Leon Clunis and his charges, Detective Corporal Dane Biggs and Constable Ricardo Hilton, all gunned down in a pre-dawn operation in St. Catherine. 2 weeks ago, 27-year-old Constable Kemar Francis was also shot dead off Maxwell Avenue in St. Andrew. Other after-dark killings this month were that of an unidentified man in Howell's Content in Clarendon, and that of Pauline Bingham Brown, who was stabbed to death in a domestic dispute in St. Anne. The incidents occurred between 9 and 10 p.m. on October 4. 2 minutes before the 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew commenced last Thursday, 22-year-old Akeem Barrett, otherwise called Chino, of Norwood, St. James, was shot dead, and 2 other persons shot and injured. Reports are that all 3 were standing on the roadway when gunmen opened fire. Indicom head pleads for the mentally ill after 15 shot by security forces this year. The Independent Commission of Investigations, Indicom, is urging members of the security forces to rethink their approach to dealing with individuals who are mentally ill. Head of Indicom, Hugh Faulkner, noted that for the first 9 months of this year, 15 mentally ill persons were shot by members of the security forces during reported confrontations. Of that number, 6 of them died, while 9 have been left nursing gunshot wounds. So the deaths of the mentally ill in these circumstances account for 7% of the security forces' fatalities up to the 2nd of October this year, Faulkner said during a media briefing. The total of 15 mentally ill persons who have been shot accounts for 10% of the 150 persons who have been shot and killed or injured in confrontation with the security forces, explained Faulkner. He noted that none of the mentally ill individuals shot by the security forces so far this year was armed with a firearm, but all were reported to be in possession of a weapon or implement of some sort. The recently installed Indicom boss noted that 5 of the mentally ill people were armed with knives, 4 with machetes, and 6 with other weapons, including 4 who were armed with stones. Among those armed with stones was a 34-year-old man who was shot and injured after he allegedly attacked 2 soldiers at the intersection of Deanery Avenue and Deanery Road in St. Andrew in June. It was reported that the soldiers were traveling along Deanery Avenue when they were informed by other soldiers that a man was throwing stones at residents. The soldiers approached the man and told him to stop throwing the stones. He reportedly turned his missiles on the soldiers and was shot. But Faulkner argued that incidents such as this one could be resolved without gunfire. Indicom is encouraging the security forces to review the tactical response in dealing with the mentally ill, to identify ways in which the mentally ill may be subdued without the use of firearms, he said. And I understand that in some instances, the situation might be grave and challenging, but we are encouraging that these steps be reviewed in dealing with the mentally ill, added Faulkner. According to Faulkner, members of the security forces need to exercise more than the ordinary care in dealing with individuals who are mentally ill, because they might not even be aware of the nature of what they're doing at the time. So he might not even have the intent to commit injury or understands what he is doing. That is why we are calling for the utmost care in dealing with these matters and to find methods to subdue the mentally ill without lethal force, said Faulkner, who did not comment on instances in which people believed to be mentally ill have committed violent crimes. These include an incident in Clarkstown, Trelawney in July, when a man believed to be mentally ill attacked his mother and stabbed her to death. Before that incident, a mentally ill man killed a child and seriously injured an adult in Barker District near Gale in St. Mary. Following that incident, several residents mobbed the man and beat him to death. One more COVID-19 death, 159 new cases. Jamaica has recorded 159 new cases of COVID-19 and an additional death over the past 24 hours. This brings the number of confirmed cases to 7,718, of which 4,314 are active. The death toll now stands at 139, following the death of a 66-year-old man from St. Elizabeth. Of the newly reported cases, there were 71 males and 86 females, with ages ranging from 3 to 86 years. The genders of 2 of the cases are still under investigation. 33 of the new cases were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew, 35 in St. James, 19 in St. Elizabeth, 16 in Manchester, 13 in St. Catherine, 9 in St. Anne, and 8 in Trelawney. Clarendon, Hanover, and Portland recorded 6 cases each. St. Mary recorded 4, Westmoreland 3, and St. Thomas 1. The country also recorded 20 recoveries, bringing the total number of recovered cases to 3,162. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.